Have you ever waited for something so badly and then felt your name disappear into silence? Fred VanVleet knows that feeling all too well. It was NBA draft night, the night when dreams come true. Fred sat with his family, dressed up, heart racing. The picks rolled in, one name after another. Cheers in living rooms across the country, but not his. The first round ended, then the second. 60 names, not one of them his. And in that suffocating silence, Fred could have broken. But instead, he tweeted something simple, something powerful. "Don't bet against me. I'm betting on myself." See, Fred wasn't the tallest guy. He didn't have crazy bounce. But he had something else. A mother who raised him alone, and memories of nights when the lights were out because they couldn't pay the bill. He signed with the Toronto Raptors on a minimal deal. No hype, no attention. Just G League gyms, long bus rides, cold sandwiches, and quiet hunger. And then, 2019 happened. The NBA Finals. On the court with Steph Curry in front of the world, Fred exploded, 22 points in Game 6. Every shot he hit wasn't just a score. It was a reply to every scout who said he's not NBA material. And when that final buzzer sounded, the undrafted kid became a champion. He didn't need a draft pick. He needed belief. Jimmy Butler's story isn't just about basketball. It's about survival. Imagine being 13 years old and hearing your own mother say, "I don't like the look of you. You need to leave." What kind of child survives that? Jimmy did. He didn't have a home, no father, no real place to sleep, but he didn't fold. He kept moving, couch to couch, house to house, with a duffel bag and a dream. And that dream? It was basketball. Not for fame, not for money, for life. Every shot he took felt like a scream the world needed to hear. Every rebound said, "I'm still here." He clawed his way into college and then the NBA. He was drafted 30th, the last pick of the first round. Barely. And in his early years, he was invisible, quiet, unnoticed. But inside him, there was a storm. And slowly, that storm became a force. A few years later, Jimmy took a Miami Heat team with no other superstars and dragged them to the NBA Finals. He didn't do it with flash. He did it with grit, pain, and a will stronger than talent. Jimmy's not just a basketball player. He's a symbol for every kid who was told they didn't belong. Every time he steps on the court, he's saying to the world, "I'm still that kid, and I made it anyway." Draymond Green never looked like an NBA star. He wasn't explosive, didn't have highlight dunks. He didn't even have a clear position. Too small for center, too slow for guard. Scouts labeled him as a good college guy. But the Warriors saw something deeper. Grit, intelligence, fire. Draymond was drafted 35th overall, second round, forgotten. But on the court, he became the soul of a dynasty. He didn't care about scoring. He cared about winning. Every loose ball, every defensive rotation, timed like a heartbeat. While the world celebrated Steph's shooting and Klay's calm, Draymond was the fire that kept the engine running. 4 championships later, he's still not loved by all. But the ones who understand the game, they know. The box score doesn't always tell the truth. Sometimes, the heart of a team beats behind the scenes. When Nikola Jokić was drafted, ESPN didn't even show his name. They cut to a Taco Bell commercial. No highlights, no celebration, just silence. But in Serbia, a slow, quiet kid was about to change the game. Jokić didn't jump out of the gym. He didn't flex or roar. But his brain? Different level. His passes defied physics. His rhythm, his timing, his understanding, it's surgical. And yet, he stayed humble. 2 MVPs, a Finals MVP, an NBA title. Still, he says little. After games, he just wants to ride horses, be with family. Jokić reminds us that greatness doesn't always scream. Sometimes it thinks and watches and waits. And when it shows up, it rewrites everything. Before the colors, the piercings, the chaos, Dennis Rodman was invisible. He was homeless, sleeping behind buildings, digging through trash cans, forgotten by the world. But one day, he touched a basketball, and it changed everything. He wasn't a scorer, he wasn't a showman, but if a rebound hit the floor, it was his. He dove for every ball like it was the last breath he had. He didn't care about points. He cared about survival. That's what basketball was to him. Survival. He won 5 championships, became a defensive legend. But off the court, he was chaos incarnate. Still, underneath all that noise was a scared kid trying to not disappear. "I didn't play for money," Rodman once said. "I played so I wouldn't vanish." And he didn't. He became unforgettable. He never yelled. He never demanded attention. But when Manu Ginóbili stepped on the floor, you felt something shift. He came from Argentina, drafted 57th overall, practically an afterthought. But what he brought to the game was poetry. The Eurostep? That was Manu. Passing without ego, hustling without needing praise, playing like it was all that mattered. 4 championships, an Olympic gold, and a legacy built not on numbers, but moments. Manu never wanted to be famous. He wanted to be effective, and he was. To every Spurs fan, he wasn't a star. He was family. He didn't shout, but he made sure the world heard him.